Welcome to the Possibility Perspective with me, Jess. Authentic, bold, and challenging conversations. You'll hear stories from me, conversations with peers, and interviews with experts on a variety of topics, all with different perspectives. Now, let's get started. All right, welcome back to another episode of the Possibility Perspective. If you are watching this instead of listening, you see me in a different space. It's my home, air quotes, recording studio. I am sitting in my spare room, sitting on the bed. You can see a little evidence of my jean quilt that I made myself out of my dad's pants. And so if you clicked on this episode, I'm going to give you a chance to decide if you really want to stay, because it's just me. So buckle up. You're getting me, my perspective, my thoughts today. And the topic that I want to discuss is authenticity. And just putting this out into the universe, I'm going to be finding someone in the quote expert arena to come on and talk to me about this too, because I have some questions and I can't really answer those. So today might just be me pondering questions about what does it really mean to be authentic? And I'm talking authentic in yourself, in who you are, and how you speak, and who you hang out with. Where do you filter yourself in certain situations? And is that okay, or is that not okay? Is that just part of life? I'm just going to dive into all of it. And we're definitely going down the bunny trail of social media, because that is where I see the most, in my perspective, inauthenticity. So here we are. And I mean, how deep do you go in this subject, right? I'm sitting here and I turned this on and I looked at myself in the camera and I immediately went, ooh, camera angle. Not sure I love that. So I adjusted the desk and moved the thing closer to me because you could see like a lot of the bed and like how I was sitting and my body. And I was like, oh, I don't want people to see that. Like, so is this inauthentic then of me like arranging this video in a certain way? Or is that just being mindful of appearance, right? Where do you draw the line between being inauthentic or just mindful of quality or perception, right? So that's my theoretical question, I guess, that I've been really grappling with, because I think we want to be true to ourselves and also professional and presentable. But what do those things even mean, really, right? So that's the question today, and something I want to bring up on the social media aspect, because I've been grappling with it a lot personally for, I don't know, a lot of years. Not really comfortable on social media myself personally. I've been on and off of it, sharing my own stuff, and every time I did, it still felt a little cringy. And why? Why did it feel cringy? Because I was thinking really hard about what I wanted to say or what I wanted to share or what I wanted to put up there. I mean, I've talked about this on other episodes. I'm really self-critical about my appearance and my body, and I have image issues, and so I would look at a picture of myself and be like, oh my God, no, I can't post that on social media. You can see a dimple or a roll or whatever. I mean, who knows? Yeah, right. So seriously, I mean, if you've never been there, then congratulations, because I'm guessing I'm not alone in that. So by the way, on this episode, I would love comments. I don't mean public comments to increase my algorithm. I mean, if you have thoughts on this, text me, call me, send me a private message. I just am curious to know if you grapple with these same things, and if you would be interested in hearing from an expert in a conversation around these things, or if you have questions you want me to ask this fictitious, someday real expert that I'm going to bring on and talk about these things. So please reach out to me in some way, shape, or form if you have thoughts or questions or suggestions, because part of this is I want to hear other people's perspectives. And if it's just radio silence to the 7 of you who may watch or listen to this, then that's fine. You can just silently watch and consume as well. No judgment. Anywho, back to what I was talking about, grappling with social media. So there's personal social media, right? You share your hike. Well, for me, share hikes, share, and that's pretty much all I've shared on social media. Halloween pictures. But you share family stuff, you share moments, and it's like on a positive side of that. One of the things I've loved consuming on social media is seeing my friends and your kids and family, and now you're growing families and the cool things that you're doing. And honestly, even some of the sad things that you shared, and I can mourn with you and I can pray for you and I can do those things and I can feel more connected to you. Those of you that I don't see all the time, which is a lot of you. So on a positive note, on a personal, for personal, I love social media for that reason. Now let me flip the script for a second though, because have you ever looked at somebody's post and felt judgmental or jealous or some kind of negative thing with that, right? Like, oh, all they ever post is this, but you know that they have X, Y, and Z actually going on in their life in the background, but they don't show that publicly. Well, should they? I mean, that's like their business, right? So that's happened. That's happened. I've been afraid to post my own things because of fear of being judged. And the reason I fear being judged is because, hello, I have judged people. That's usually, if you're fearing something, it's probably because you've done it yourself, right? And so that's what I'm constantly in this push and pull about it, and even doing this podcast and sharing things on social media. I've been doing this experiment. If you follow my pages, The Possibility Perspective at all, I've been doing this experiment. I did a month, I think, of posting something every single day. Just little quotes that I found witty or funny or what have you, or clips from my podcast, etc. Just to see, I mean, from a business perspective, what would it do, right? Does just blasting a bunch of content out there do anything? In my experience, the answer is no. It doesn't. I mean, you get a few likes here and there, but did that change or slow down or speed up from when I wasn't posting at all? No, not really. So then I did a different month and I posted, I think, like every other day or something. Did that change my results? No. Do I still have the same amount of likes and followers as I did? Yes. Do I care? Not really. It was just an experiment, and I'm going to decide if I want to keep going with it or not from a social media perspective. I also am aware that I'm not really sure how else to share something online unless I use social media. If I create this podcast and I want people to know about it, other than the contacts I have in my phone, how do I tell anyone else about it? I mean, that's pretty much our option these days, right? If you want to go beyond your physical circle. So there is a need for it. And so I just wonder, how do we balance that? Because I've been consuming a lot of other podcasts lately. Mel Robbins she's a brilliant mind. She's done amazing things. Probably a lot of you have heard of her. If you haven't, check her out. She's got great books. She's like a top rated podcast in the world. And she's talked about this. She's interviewed people about this. About just getting off social media because of how toxic it can be. And so you hear these things right now. Now my spiritual perspective comes in, and where you create your own reality. So if you're constantly talking about how toxic social media is and how horrible it is and blah blah blah, then that's the reality that you're creating, right? So what if you flip the narrative, you flip the script, you change your belief system, and you think social media is an amazing connection tool, and it's an amazing business growth opportunity, and I can reach people through it, and I can do all these things, then maybe it just is that. Maybe it can exist in both universes, just depending on what reality you're living in. So there you go. There's another theoretical, philosophical question about social media and my thoughts on it. And so, to circle that back to authenticity, what does it really mean to be authentic? Because I had a little moment one day, and I actually recorded a video and I put it on my YouTube channel. I didn't put it anywhere else because I actually got scared after I did it. And I was like, why did I do that? I just had this like thing come over me, and I just held my phone and I just recorded this video, and I was like, I don't even remember what I said exactly. It was like, authenticity is dead. Like who is really actually authentic anymore? I'll tell you what isn't authentic. Taking 15 takes of this video in order to get it just right, in order to post it to get the likes and the shares and the comments and the algorithm. That's not authentic. And I think I do believe that. I don't think that doing and redoing and editing ourselves to death to this point of it's not even real anymore is authentic. But I do think there's a balance. I think from a professional standpoint, from a respect maybe even standpoint, we edit ourselves on a constant basis, right? You're talking to some people and maybe there's something you could say really bluntly, or sometimes you could like sugarcoat it a little bit to be mindful of someone else's reactions or feelings. And I think it's okay. I think it's okay to self-edit in some of those situations. Maybe an expert would disagree with me. Put that on the list of things to ask that person that I'm going to bring on the show. Is it okay to edit yourself in certain situations? I think it is, when it's a matter of respect and empathy for another human being. Can that go too far? And can you edit yourself too much to where you don't even know who you are anymore? You betcha. I think we do that all the time in jobs, in relationships, in friendships. And you look up one day and you're like, this isn't for me anymore. Right? You could do that. That could be in any scenario. It could be in a friendship, relationship, job, whatever, right? You look up one day and you're like, oh, this isn't me anymore. Has anyone out there ever felt that before in any of those scenarios? I have. And it's okay. We change. We change who we are. We're growing. We're evolving. Other people change. It's part of the process. And I think it's just being mindful of where we are in that process and how much are we self-editing and how much are we being, too forthcoming, and maybe is there such thing as being too authentic? Have you ever so I've been told I'm a little much sometimes, so is that me? Is that me being a little too authentic? Question. Okay, so we're getting all the questions down. I'm going to have to give the expert homework to watch or listen to this episode before I interview them, and then all the questions already be asked. Okay, so back to the point. See, we're going to go on some bunny trails. I knew we were going to, but I promise this isn't going to be a long episode. So if you're still with me, congratulations. You're just as weird as me, or maybe you have some of the same thoughts I do. Anyway, authenticity, social media, what we're doing. I mean, I could even go as far as asking the question, how much do I edit this episode? I'm recording it in real time, but do you know how much of this I cut out and am not saying or not sharing with the world? Well, my goal is to not cut out any of it because I really wanted to try to do this just raw, off the cuff, and practice my speaking skills. And so here we are, 13, 14-ish minutes into this, and I feel like I've made my point. The point is, what is authenticity? And I don't think it has one specific definition, but here's an idea. I'm going to Google it. Real time. What is the definition of authenticity? Okay, first thing that comes up. The quality of being authentic. The paper should have established the authenticity of the documents before publishing them. Oh, see, this is me having to learn how to read out loud again. This is difficult. Authentic, genuine, bona fide. Being actually and exactly what is claimed. Authentic implies being fully trustworthy. Interesting. Real or genuine, not copied or false. True and accurate. Made to be or look just like an original. So those are interesting definitions. I guess it's maybe not what I expected it to be. When I was thinking about how I would define authenticity, which I've been having a hard time doing lately, hence this whole episode and wanting to do a follow-up to it, because there's a feeling to it that I'm having trouble articulating or describing, but there's this, you're true to you, right? So authenticity is, again, with a lens, different perspectives. I think it's whatever's true to you and knowing that can change. So for me, authenticity is sharing my thoughts right now on this podcast, not really worrying that my hair might be messed up because I just went on a walk outside, or that maybe this is not the greatest color on me because it washes me out, or that I can see circles under my eyes, like whatever. I felt inspired to do this. I didn't really plan to sit down and do this today. So I authentically just wanted to come on and record this. That's authenticity to me. It's just being true to who I am in that moment and saying what I mean and what I feel. Tomorrow, I might feel very differently about this. I don't know. And I'm just going to stay true to that too. So I guess in that way it is genuine. Isn't that a rapper? Genuine. To just be in that moment. And so when to tie that back to the social media thing is, if it's genuine to you in that moment, then post it. Hopefully it's not hurtful or harmful to anyone, because then I would say think twice. But, you do you. And so when I think about that for myself, from a personal standpoint, then I guess maybe I could post and just get over my own fears of being judged and what have you. Because who knows, maybe some people love seeing that I go on these hikes and that I have yard flowers. I don't know what else I really post about on a personal level. That's pretty much it. And from a business perspective, I think you can cultivate real, authentic relationships through social media. I think it's sometimes hard because you don't know who's got an agenda or what they want or what they're trying to sell you. But I mean, I'm on social media trying to sell all the time for my day job and my side hustle. So I'm one of those people. I'm trying to sell. I have an agenda. I also have a genuine, love for what I do, and in my heart, I'm trying to help people. And so I feel like I'm being authentic in that realm. And so maybe that just comes back to judgment, right? Or judgment's maybe not the right word. What am I looking for? It comes back to reflection or intuition, I guess, as I've brought up a lot on this show, is just kind of going where we're guided and what feels true to us in those moments. And hopefully that steers us down the right path of what we should be doing or how we should be doing it from being authentic in our lives. And so really, I think that feels like a good place to just wrap up and say, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to my authenticity ramble of the evening. And I hope I've given you some questions to think about. Think about, where are you the most authentic in your life, and how does it make you feel when you're the most authentic? Ooh, that's a good one. How does it make you feel? And flip side of that, when you're not authentic, how does that make you feel? And how do you want to feel? Because at the end of the day, I think we want to just be living the best lives we can be true to ourselves, be in joy, be in gratitude, be in abundance, be, kind and loved and validated and all of those things. And I think those things come from being authentic and striving for that as much as possible. And if there's something that in our lives that is inauthentic, to just take a deeper look at it and figure out what we could do about it. What could we shift in that to make it a little bit more true? So that is this just really random episode of The Possibility Perspective. And I look forward to your comments, your questions, your feedback. And I hope to see you back here again soon when I interview somebody about authenticity. And just a side note, this episode is coming out May 1st. So if you're listening to it on May 1st, woohoo, if you kept whatever, it doesn't matter. But the next episode, the point of all of that, take the long way around here, land the plane, Jessica. The next episode I do is an interview not about authenticity. Well, maybe it'll come up in the authenticity, but it's someone I don't know. It's somebody I met through social media. So the little irony spin on all of this, somebody I literally just connected with through social media that has her own podcast, and very excited to have this conversation with her. That will be coming out May 15th. And so there you go, leaving you with a little irony of how social media can be a great connection tool in personal and in business. All right, signing off for now. Thank you, and see you next time. Thanks for listening to The Possibility Perspective on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information about the show, you can subscribe to the podcast. Visit thepossibilityperspective.com.